You know, I really want to go flying today. The weather's gorgeous, but I have this issue. I have about a 2-inch sheet of ice right in front of the ramp, in front of the hangar. There's no way I'm getting that out. My shovel wasn't cutting it. So I brought an awl, and we'll see if we can smash it out.
Traffic Navion 4888 K71 tree taking off runway 20 departing straight out.
Okay, so we're in the run-up area here at KCOE on the north end, just at the departure end of runway 20. And so what we're going to do today is I'm flying my 1949 Ryan Navion, and I just want to put a big thanks out there to there's an amazing developer and an amazing guy, an amazing dad, B4 Gunner. Look him up on flightsim.to. He made an exact replica of this airplane, and I have to tell you, flying it in the sim, flying it in the airplane, sometimes I don't want to have to bother going out and getting the airplane out because I can just kind of get my fix sometimes in the simulator. So I wanted to fly the airplane today. We're going to take off on 20. We're going to head south out over Lake Coeur d'Alene. It's a beautiful day. The fog finally lifted. It's cold. But I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like compared to the sim and just what an amazing job B4 Gunner did. So all of you flying the airplane out there in sim world, just know that Navion, whatever livery you pick, he did just such an awesome job, and I really love the videos from Dave McKee. He's got a passion for this airplane too, so this flight's for you guys. So enjoy. I'm going to do a quick run up here. Make sure everything is looking good. So we're going to go up to 1800 RPM, do a quick mag check. Okay, that looks good. We're going to cycle the prop. We've had a nice long taxi, so the engine temperature's up, cylinder head temperature's up, oil temperature is coming up. It's a really cold day. So we're going to cycle that prop twice. And it is very cold. I do not know why I have the canopy open. Okay, flight controls are free and correct. And we're going to set our flaps for takeoff. So the way we do that in real life is we go full right deflection, and we match the left flap to the left aileron in its most downward position, and that gives you your ideal takeoff setting. Okay, hydraulic power's on, hydraulic pressure's looking good, oil temperature's good, oil pressure's looking good, our fuel is good, we're on the main tanks. All right, let's go flying. Gears down. Here we go. Coeur d'Alene traffic, Navion 4888 Kilo is going to be taking a runway 20 planned straight out departure, Coeur d'Alene. Fuel pump coming on. I always forget to do that in the sim. It probably doesn't matter in the sim, but it's a good idea in real life. Have that fuel pump on during critical phases of flight. Okay, here we go. Ooh, got some vortices coming off the prop tips. That's pretty cool. Positive rate, gears coming up. We're going to keep it about 80. That's the best speed to get the gear to come up and stay locked. Once they're up and locked, it will pitch down for about 90. Woo! Rocket ship today, buddy. She is flying. That is awesome. It just jumped off the ground. It got to 80 before I even knew it. Wow, all kinds of power today. All right, right, so we're on the upwind of 20. We're going to make a bit of a turn that way. Everything is looking pretty good. I'm going to pull my power back just a bit. Pull my RPMs back just a bit. All right, so we're up. We're about 5,000 feet. We're just over the north end of Lake Coeur d'Alene. Downtown Coeur d'Alene's just behind us. It is gorgeous up here. Man, the airplane's just going like a bat out of hell. Yeah, we're going to fly down to the southern end of Coeur d'Alene. Here we are. There's the panel. There's the right wing. There's the left wing. And we're currently at about 23 squared, 23 inches, 2,300 RPM, and we're cruising along at about 130 miles an hour. And it's just an absolutely beautiful day. You can see the weather, the fog kind of down there in the next valley over. It's going to be foggy again tonight, so want to make sure I get home before that decides to come back. All right, we're, I don't know, about halfway down the lake. There's Harrison down there, Harrison, Idaho. Yeah, so the nice thing about this Navion, especially on cold days, it's got to be, well, it's pretty cold. It's, I don't know, 5 degrees Celsius outside right now. It's cold. It's just, this thing flies like a fighter, like a P-51. I mean, just the roll authority, it is just badass. Look at that, beautiful lake down there. Stars and bars on that water. This airplane loves cold weather. It's cool. So yeah, so B4 gunner. Oh man, you nailed it. You just nailed everything about this airplane. From the panel, the way he custom painted and 3D modeled all of the gauges. And some of the gauges are kind of wonky too. Like the RPM and the manifold pressure gauge, they're swapped. They shouldn't be in that order, but they are. And he did that in the sim as well. Everything about the flight model, the flight characteristics of that sim Navion, to the best I can tell, he nailed it as far as kind of what it feels to rotate, the visual of landing speed. It's all pretty much the same. The roll rate, not that I've ever rolled this thing, but yeah, it's all really close to real life. He did such a cool job, just a great job. And I just get such a kick out of seeing this airplane around the world, you know, like way over 4,000 downloads, and I'm seeing it in the sim, running into it in the wild, which is just crazy, seeing my airplane out there. What's really cool about this whole thing, and what I love about what B4 Gunner did, is this airplane had a really unique history. In 1949, it was purchased by one of the original 12 WASP, Women Air Service Pilots, and she owned that airplane as a civilian, flew it for a number of years, and then sold it off, and it changed hands. It then went down to South America, where it became a missionary airplane. I'm not really sure what that means, but it was in Ecuador and Guatemala and all over South America for 20, 30 years before it came up here, and then ended up getting restored by the head of restorations for the Boeing Museum of Flight in Seattle. So really great restoration. The paint job is awesome. I love it. And then he sold it to a gentleman who parked it in his hangar for 15 years. And it just sat there. He never flew it, fired up the engine. He did take good care of it. I mean, he did an annual. He made sure to keep up on some of the recurring AD notes and things like that. But the airplane never flew. It literally sat in a hangar for 12 to 15 years. I negotiated with him for quite some time to buy the airplane. And once he finally agreed, we made a deal. You know, hey, if you get that airplane in annual and flying, I want to share it with the world. I mean, this airplane literally sat in the dark for 15 years, and now people I've never even heard of around the world are downloading it and getting to fly it, and that is just the coolest thing ever. I love that. I love that it went from, you know, a hangar queen, you know, covered in dust, to something that is flying, at least in the virtual world. I'm going to do my best as its kind of new curator to keep it flying in the physical world. I'm also the kind of guy, if anybody ever wants to go for a ride, you're always welcome if I've got an empty seat. So if you're ever in North Idaho and you want to go for a ride in this Navion, and we have good weather, look me up. We'll take you up, no problem. But yeah, anyway, so just heartfelt thanks to B4 Gunner and all of the guys out there flying this airplane in the sim. I love that you love it. I love it in real life. I love it in the sim, and B4 Gunner just did a miracle in bringing this thing to life. And I just can't tell you, as somebody who's got quite a bit of time in this thing, just how realistic of an experience that he created in FS 2020 of this particular aircraft. And it's just so cool. Let's see. We are somewhere. We're basically at the south tip of Lake Coeur d'Alene. We're coming up on St. Mary's, which is just off our nose. It's another town just off the southern tip of the lake. And down here, we're kind of near, what is that, Rockford Bay. The lake is almost frozen. It's really cool. You can see these big cracks and fissures. Let me see if I can get a shot of that. So what else can I tell you about the airplane? You know, if you fly it in the sim, you'll notice some of the quirky things about the airplane. Here, I'll try and get some footage while I'm talking. But here's the instrument panel. It's very basic. This airplane, with the exception of the tablet that is also in the sim, hasn't changed. The instruments are basically the same instruments from 1949. So it's just really cool. I mean, yeah, the radios are updated. Those are probably vintage 1970 something. So they're even pretty old, but they're not as old as this airplane. But you know, the hydraulic reservoir shut off. The starter is here. The mags. He even got the mag switch, right, which is North American vintage. It's the same thing in P51 or an AT6 Texan. He's got the trim wheel. He did a great job. When you move the trim in the sim, you see this thing animated. He did an awesome job doing that. And then my favorite thing about this airplane right here is a G meter. Like, what GA airplane that's not an aerobatic certified airplane needs a G meter? My Navion, that's what. There we go. You can see that thing moving. Pull a little bit of a G, just about another G. We went to 2, so that's kind of neat, kind of fun. There's a transponder over there, the Narco AT150. He got that in there. The back seat, even the leather, right? The leather seating, the hat shelf, everything, he nailed it. The canopy latch in the sim, if you haven't tried, click that canopy latch. It'll open. I'm not going to do it in flight, so don't ask. Such attention to detail, such artistry. It's just really cool. Good job. All right, well, we just went all the way down to St. Mary's, the south end of Lake Coeur d'Alene. We've turned north. We're coming up back over Harrison here. There's that cool, little cool strip I mentioned earlier. My feet are freezing. One thing this airplane does not have is a heater. Because of those augmenter tubes that you see on the outside of the airplane where there should be exhaust, those are basically just straight headers to improve cooling in the engine and make it sound cool. But what we sacrifice is the heater shroud around the muffler. Yeah, so my feet are cold. I'm going to head back to the airport. Once again, B4 Gunner, you're awesome. Thank you for bringing this airplane to life and helping to share it with the world. Dave McKee, Dave McKee, I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Keep making cool videos. I love watching you fly and enjoy the Navion. I am going to fly up here and enter a left downwind for runway 20. I'm going to get this thing on the ground. I'm going to need some help before it gets too cold and the ice starts freezing again to get this thing back in the hangar. So thanks for flying with me. Really appreciate it. Have a good day and go fly your Navion.